Today we're going to talk about some residential framing, you know?
All right, we've got some jack rafters filled in on either side and our commons down there at the end. Adam is working on getting ready to cut the rest of the jack rafters for the other hip. And in the meantime, I'm going to dial this guy in. There's a little bit of discrepancy, plus there's some oddball square cut ones. So I'm going to go through and just make sure that everything is good and plumb. I ran a string line on it real quick. Everything looks good now. So I'm going to fix that stuff. We're going to plumb cut the hip rafter at the end. I've got to make one cut going back because I'm only doing 6-inch fascia on this, not 8. So I need to make one cut back this way as well. So I'm going to get all that stuff done. And then I've got my sub fascia here ready to rock and roll. And we'll cut that and we'll install our sub fascia on this leg and we'll be looking pretty good. So it should give me something to do for a few minutes. Adam will get the jack rafters going for that side, and then once he has those cut, I'll go install those, and then we'll probably work together to do the sub fascia on the other two sides. All right, so here's the rafter tail detail. Did a level cut back here, and then I tidied up our plumb cuts. It's pretty straight now. And then this will allow, let's grab this guy. So let's see if we can do this one-handed. So when we have our sub fascia held flush like so, the sheeting will come down and bear out on this edge. So that's why it's a little deeper, like about a 1/2 inch in this case. It's pretty standard, about a 1/2 inch when you're running like a 4 or 5/12 roof. So that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and stick on my first chunk of sub fascia, so that'll finish off this end and run out. And then later when we get into the soffit details, what we'll end up doing is just hanging an F channel on the wall, and our soffit will rest in the F channel on the wall. It'll get nailed up to the sub fascia, and then the fascia will cover it all up and we'll be good to go. So our sub fascia is on, at least to there. I'm gonna wait to do that chunk until we get that sub fascia nice and straight, and then we'll finish the other 45 on the hip rafter, and then we can tie our sub fascia out there. But in the meantime, I wanted to start trying to fill some of this hip while Adam is working on those. So kind of similar to the subfloor video, especially when you have the longer chunks of lumber, I like to get my tape measure out and we hook it down there. We can make sure that we're 16, 32. These are all pretty good so far. This one could go over a little bitty. That one could go over a little bitty. And that one could go over. Oh, that one's pretty good. So in this case, we're pretty good. But this close rafter here, the second one from the wall, that one was out a little bit. So I had to pull that one to where I needed it and then shoot it in. We've got a little sheeting and sub fascia action going at the same time so that we don't have to move this plank around a bunch of times. But what I've been doing is we snapped a straight line all the way through so I can do my plumb cuts. Once I have my plumb cut, I'm measuring down from the top 5 3/4 inches, using my speed square to make a mark back this way, and then I'm using the rear handle saw to cut these guys flush like that, and then we hang our sub fascia to the bottom, and then this isn't in the way, the end of the rafter tail. That'll keep our subfascia nice and straight so that when we cover it with aluminum, we don't have too many problems. And then, like I said, we're throwing this first sheet from the plank while we're right here to try and keep things a little easier and safer, if you will. Well, there's certainly nothing fun about sheeting. It's pretty much just grunt work. So first sheet was on from the plank. We're going to fill in this face quick before we move our operation to the back there, and then we'll have to cut that subfascia and sheath the little guy. H clips in the centers. Adjust these if they're warped, adjust them for your first one to get it all nice and neat, and nail the crap out of it. So check out that lumber. What a joke. Quote, premium lumber. I'd say maybe for building canoes. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the roof sheeting and subfascia detail. Next up, we'll jump into underlayment and putting some shingles on this thing to get it weathered in. Like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you guys in the next one.